What is going on, everybody? BobbyFi is my main man, Jake Rohde. We're going to be talking through the Super Bowl slate. We're going to talk about a little bit of prop bets. We're going to talk about a little bit of DFS. We're going to talk about a little bit of who we like to win the game, those kind of things. Rohde, I know you always say the same thing. I'm a little underprepared, which means that means Rohde will be collecting six figures on Sunday evening. And I hopefully will be watching my Rams win the Super Bowl and maybe collecting, you know what? I would take, even if the Rams win, I'll take a 5-figure profit, but I would prefer a 6. You know what? And by the way, it's about time one of us got to 7 figures. So let's see if we can aim at that. But let's talk through some basic stuff too. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to be using Roto Grinders Lineup HQ. Shout out to Roto Grinders for doing a great job with their tools. We've got some more we're developing here at True DFS. We've also got some partnerships in the works, but I want to keep that quiet for right now. And we will be developing all this stuff. But for right now, we're going to use the Roto Grinders because it's something that me and Rohde are pretty familiar with. Obviously, you guys know I'm a former Roto Grinders long-term employee, and I love these guys, and I do appreciate what they do. But we're going to talk through the DFS slate, as well as I'm going to drop in some weird prop bets that Rohde can weigh in on. So before we jump into this, Rohde, do you have a favorite in this game? I know there's a lot of trend. It's funny because you got a 4.5 point spread, 4-point spread for the Rams. And I feel like every single person I hear is talking about the Bengals winning this game. And a lot of it doesn't have anything to do with logic, in my opinion. I am a homer, but I'm not a weird homer. I was the one who was worried about the Rams versus Arizona. I was worried about the only game I wasn't worried about was Tampa Bay, which almost came back to bite me. But I really thought the Rams would control and dominate that game, which they did. I see this as an absolute mismatch, in my opinion. I think the Rams are a far superior team. I think that the exact type of defense they play with the zone schemes combined with the pass rush and the fact that you have Jalen Ramsey on the outside to match up with Chase, it feels like I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams won in a blowout. And then if it was really ugly, I would actually think Cincinnati might be the favorite in a really ugly type of environment. I like the Rams -4. I feel like this could be a significant amount higher under different circumstances. So I like the Rams -4. I am a homer. I am a Rams fan, but I've been pretty honest all year about the Rams situation. I bet on the Niners to beat the Rams, or I told people to bet on the Niners. I can't actually pull the bet through myself to beat the Rams last game of the regular season, which cost them, the home field advantage throughout the playoff, all these things, except for the Packers, unless the Packers beat San Francisco. I've been doing really well with my bets, but what do you think about this game? Do you feel like this is really Cincinnati's year to win it, or are you with me, I guess?
I'm definitely with you. I've been telling people I like to put $2,000 at least on the Rams. And I don't know. I've been doing really good at my live bets, like watching the game, getting a good game flow. And then maybe the Bengals get up 7 and then the odds favor the Rams a little bit, or maybe the Bengals get up like 10 or some 10-0 and then slow start for the Rams. And then they get it together and then you can get a good live bet in. But I definitely agree with you. I think the Bengals have had a good run to get here. I think they're very explosive on offense. I just think the Rams defense is too good, and defense wins championship, guys. The Rams are a more balanced team. They have an offense, they have a defense, they have all the playmakers that Bobby just talked about. So I really think that the Rams have the advantage here, and I do like the Bengals. You always get, like, Bobby's was rooting for some upsets throughout the playoffs, and he's been a lot of upsets been this year with some weird upsets. You could have made some money on upsets this year. So I don't know. I really think the Rams, just like you said, blow them away, but I can see the Bengals playing up to this game a little bit too. So I definitely think I'm going to go Rams though. So
yeah, I'm the same. I mean, look, if Stafford makes a couple of mistakes and the defense, I actually respect the Bengals defense, but it's more about, I love Joe Burrow. Like, you're not going to find a bigger guy who loves Joe Burrow, but I really think if there was a defense to match up against him, this is the defense. It's sort of like how I felt about the Brady thing at Tampa this year. Even if they had everybody, I mean, they could not move the ball for 3.75 quarters. And it was just like one play they got basically along to the Rams trying to give that one away. So unless the Rams do that, I really like the Rams in this game. In terms of the over under, I could see it going either way with some late nonsense if the Rams did dominate, but I generally feel like very split on the over under, which I know people love to bet on. If I think one team is going to dominate another team, I generally like the under. This is an interesting one for me. I feel like it's right in between. I feel like maybe I would even lean a little bit the over, because I would have thought that the over under should be a little bit like 50-51. And I feel like this game could end up it being a complete shootout type of thing. And all these things could be for naught, because the one thing the Rams will do is they'll give up some big plays here and there. And that is what the Bengals specialty is. So we'll get into all that stuff. Let's talk about a little bit for DFS. Like, obviously we're going to have the most owned players being, Stafford, Kupp, Burrow, Mixon. I just want to throw out a weird, bet. I mentioned it to you pre-show. Mixon, I think it may have moved to 40-1, but Mixon as much as I think the Rams are going to win, Mixon as a 45-1, which is what I have it as, to win the MVP seems crazy to me. And non-quarterbacks being the MVP are 2.3-1. That's where I would start my bets if I was you guys. I really like the non-quarterback winning the MVP. 2.3-1 you're getting 2.3-1. That seems crazy to me, because it could look, Aaron Donald gets a strip sack, a couple pressures and a sack on top of it, which is very possible, especially against Joe Burrow. And he's the MVP, and especially because the narrative driving all this stuff, it's real, that he may be the best defensive player of all time. I think that's a really good bet, the 2.3-1 for a non-QB MVP. First of all, what do you think about that? And then we'll get into some DFS stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we talked pre-show. I definitely agree with what you just said. I mean, I don't have any other comments on it. It's crazy. But yeah, I agree with, pretty much agree. So,
all right, nice. Well, that's a good start. I've got
on the same page. Let's go Rams and agree.
We're never on the same page here. What the hell's going on? Well, so we're on the same page with that. In terms of DFS plays, one thing I'm not going to do is, I know Jamar Chase is actually getting like a little lower ownership than I thought he would. I will not be heavy on Jamar Chase at all for DFS. I just want to say that for sure. I am probably going to be under the field as much as I think he could win the MVP again, you're talking about 45-1, which is just ridiculous. I like Mixon over Akers in that sense, but Akers' price for DFS makes a lot more sense. Guys who are like weird plays like Uzoma, who I think are going to be a little bit overlooked, I'm very into.
No way. He's going to play?
That's the word. Right? He's probable.
Wow, that's probable.
Yeah.
Man, that injury. I've checked out of football after the last week since football. I didn't even realize he was probable until I seen him on the projections down here. And Higbee's good to go, huh? That's good.
No, we don't know about Higbee yet. I still feel questioning about the Higbee thing.
Oh, okay. That Uzoma injury looked nasty. It could have been way worse. He got carted off on the sideline. He kind of twisted his leg. I mean, that's a tear usually type injury. So yeah, that's good to see the tight ends come back here.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope we get ours back, because if not, I will be loading up on Kendall Blanton. The Rams will want to run a play for this guy near the goal line, and they'll find him in general. You have a former tight ends coach in McVay, and that's how he got his whole thing going against Shanahan. That's Shanahan when they were on the same coaching staff anyway. So he does look for specifically tight end design plays. So whichever tight end it is, I'm going to have interest, but Blanton, I definitely would have interest in. The guys who I really think are important, like to target here, is like OBJ, I think has a legitimate shot at being one of those Super Bowl MVPs. I think he's 25-1, but I also think for DFS, he makes a lot of sense in some ways as a captain. They're going to play zone, which does favor Cooper Kupp, and he is the most logical choice, in my opinion, for the captain spot in your showdown lineups. But he's so obvious, everybody's going to do it. Same thing with Stafford or Burrow. What other guys can we use here? I'm using OBJ as an example. I mentioned the thing about the tight ends. I think Van Jefferson is an interesting, like long shot captain spot, and you can sort of get everybody else in. I think the same about Uzoma. I think weirdly, like one of the things is the Rams defense with McPherson, I'm considering as a serious core. I think that it's 2-1 for both quarterbacks to turn the ball over. I think that's really interesting. And I think that you're going to get like some pretty good odds. Okay. So I think realistically, there's going to be at least 3 turnovers in this game. I hope they're all the Bengals, but I really think that there's going to be some turnovers in this game with these teams matched up. So I like that bet, but I like, it leads me to liking the Rams defense, liking McPherson as a kicker. That's something I actually have to get. So I'm so sorry to pause you for a second, but I'm going to have to like shut this down for one quick second, and I'm going to have to answer that call. Sorry, guys. We'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. Personal emergency that turns out to be fine. So we get to talk more about this. I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to go back into some DFS stuff for the NFL. So, all right. So I was talking about some guys who I look at as captain. Who else would you consider? I was thinking Tyler Boyd too. I was just going through my range of who I could use as captains, but I know that I like Uzoma. I know that I like Uzoma, McPherson, and the Rams defense as parts of my lineups. I don't know if I like them as my captains. Who would you be looking at as some maybe off the board captains?
Well, what do you think? The running game is going to be a lot less owned. You think what do you think of the Rams running backs? Like, it sounds like you like Akers, but do you think that like Sony Michel gets there at all, or get some like goal line work or anything still?
Yeah, I do actually, and I think he's a really good off the board play. But I think if you're talking about captain, you can get Akers. Let's see what the projected ownership is on it. I think Akers is low enough, 7%, 7.5%, or 7.8%. And the pricing is close enough. But I do think for large field tournaments, playing like a Sony Michel, hopefully you get the 2 goal line looks. The problem is that the Rams will run that quarterback sneak. They ran it 4 times in a row against Arizona. I've never seen a team do that in my life. They ran it on first down, they ran it on second down, they ran it on third down, they ran it on fourth down. All quarterback sneaks. That's the one thing that makes me a little bit hesitant, but I do think this is a spot where Cam Akers could have a big day, and I think he's getting a little bit under projected. So I don't mind that at all, and I don't mind if you want to do your old showdown thing. You're the showdown king, man.
No, I'm the showdown king, but yeah, I have one lineup built right now, and I built it a week ago talking to a guy. It has a double running back type build, Rams defense in it as well, because I do like the Rams D, as we talked about early. And then you can still get like a Burrow Chase in there with Cup. So I mean, you can get a lot when you go cheap captain, and say the defense gets some stops, and then the running backs get a couple short field yards, touchdowns, where Stafford's not going to be throwing 300 yards, but Cup's still going to get his 8 catches for 90 or something, maybe a touchdown, and the running backs split touchdowns, and the Rams give them good field position. And then you do what I did against when I won that 100K in showdown, where you got to play someone to run it back on the other side, like Joe Burrow and Chase, or Joe Burrow and Higgins or something. And they're gonna be throwing the ball to catch up to the Rams if they get a lead. And maybe maybe it's all running backs and Stafford's not getting all the work, and then you can kind of get Burrow and Chase to just be going down the field trying to play catch up too. So I kind of like that build. I think it's going to be different. Nobody plays double running back, as you've seen all year. No one does that. I do tend to have like Akers in the captain more over Sony Michel, but I mean, large field, I mean, we're trying to win big money this weekend, big contests. And if you want to get different, I mean, playing some of these guys like Hal Rams defense captain or Sony captain, a couple guys you can really get different with there, I think.
With how long Burrow holds the ball, combined with the fact that this is the scheme that he has the most trouble with, it feels like a spot where if it was just a regular slate, not a Super Bowl, we should be talking heavy Rams defense. And
I agree. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, like, it's literally the kind of situation where you'd look for a potential defensive touchdown, even in a shootout game. Like, this is a game I think we would have targeted. That's what I was saying that's weird about the total to me, is that you would think if this game was played in the regular season, that this would be a 52 plus total. Maybe the Super Bowl knocks it down a little bit. There is weird things with the long halftime and all that. But I think the Rams defense is going to be under on. They're projected to score 6.6 fantasy points. I will take the over on that bet. They could give up a lot of points and still do that. They could force 2 fumbles. They can get 6 sacks. I mean, we saw Tennessee get 9 sacks and Cincinnati still won the game. it's a really tough team to play against if you're going to hold the ball a while. And it's a really tough when you have the zone schemes combined with the best lockdown corner. Well, one of the 3 best lockdown corners in the NFL with Ramsey. That's why I'm off Chase. I will have a little bit of exposure because I'm going to play a number of lineups. But I think it's interesting to play the other Cincinnati receivers. If I was captaining any other receiver, I think Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins is actually the most logical one to me, because in a zone scheme, you're going to look for your big possession target. And especially on DraftKings with a PPR, I think you're going to see a lot of T. Higgins work. Tyler Boyd is the other potential home run hitter that can get you there if you're not playing Chase. And that's the way I'm looking at this. I'm just going to be way below the field on Chase. I'm not going to say I'm not going to have any of them, but I'm looking to try and get some exposure to these other guys. Especially on a PPR side. Like I said, T. Higgins, it wouldn't surprise me, even in a blowout, even if the Rams won easily, it wouldn't surprise me if T. Higgins had 10 catches. Like, I'm serious. It's really, that's how you play against the Rams. You're not going to beat Patrick Ramsey. If you beat Ramsey or Jalen Ramsey, if you beat Jalen Ramsey, like, great, you might beat him once, but it's not going to happen, especially with the zone scheme. They're going to have a safety back. Like, they're going to rush their 4 guys and basically like see what happens. And I like the Bengals team. I like their O-line, but I just don't know if they can keep up with the Rams D-line. That's my personal take. I could be wrong, could be an ugly shit show. Either way, the Rams defense definitely makes a lot of sense to me. So I like that. Obviously the obvious plays are Kupp and, some people for Higgins, Burrow, Stafford, for showdown slates. Akers, Mixon, people are going to be mixing these guys in, but I like the idea of playing more Boyd, Higgins, Rams defense, kicker. I mean, look, how many times have we seen it with the Bengals, even in the postseason? They'll have 1st and goal at the fucking 3-yard line, and then you get a sack back to the 13, and next thing you know, you're kicking a field goal. But this McPherson kid can kick from anywhere, and you've got a good game environment. The over-under for his field goal attempts are 1.5. That's another side bet that I'm making. I'll take the over out even on made field goals for that guy, because I think even if they drive the ball on the Rams their defense will hold up enough to where you're going to have some field goal attempts by Cincinnati. So I like that idea of maybe getting a little weird with it and playing the Rams defense with the Cincinnati kicker. What do you think about that? And then what are some of your other guys who you'd look for GPPs, as well as maybe the guys you'd factor in for maybe some of the more obvious plays? Because I'm talking about off the board stuff mostly, but you can throw in the obvious ones too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as Cubs captain, you might want. I'm probably going to run 150 for this. So obviously, you want Kupp somewhat captain. Probably he's like the highest upside ceiling guy you can get. But like, I really like taking some of these cheap guys and mixing them, like at captain. I haven't ran over the simulations yet. Usually, I look at like an IQ thing that I look at where it runs a bunch of simulations to give percent captains and stuff like that. I haven't done that. So get in the Discord, guys. I usually drop that info in for showdowns, for big showdowns like this. So I'll drop that info in the Discord. We'll have the links in the description. So jump in there. Discord's been popping lately. NBA chat's been going nuts. We've had a lot of big 6-figure wins there. Things have been really good over in the True DFS chat. So it's been popping.
Yeah, shout out to you, man. You've done a great job in explaining more about process, and people question, how does this work? And that's what we want to do. We want to make everybody else better at this. That's our goal. You know what I mean? I know it sounds corny, but that really is legitimately our goal. And we are growing, and we're finally able to make some of the things we needed to make, but we needed to get to this point first, the changes. But you've done a great job. So you've been Rohde is our True DFS captain in terms of Discord. The guy literally does everything and makes you a better DFS player if you're not a good one already. And even if you are a good one already, there's interesting things. He's got an interesting point of view on a lot of this stuff. So I would listen to a lot of what Rohde has to say.
Thanks.
No, for sure, man.
Yeah. You want me to keep going with some stuff, or?
Yeah, keep going. I just wanted to interrupt.
Yeah. So I kind of just built one real quick here with the Rams defense. Do you see the Rams defense in the road RG thing? If you pick captain right now, I don't think you can. No, if you just not in DK, but like I was in the RG.
Oh, the RG.
And the RG doesn't have the captains listed for defense. If you hit captain,
because I don't think anybody's playing them.
Really? They should still be in the optimizer though.
100% they should be in the optimizer. I don't know why they're not in the optimizer. I can't speak.
Yeah, it's not in the optimizer for me, but I don't know if it is for you if you click it. But
Let's
Is it
see.
for you?
I
Oh
have
no,
the
you have it.
I
I
have
have no idea why I don't have it. Okay, so I went over to DraftKings and I made a lineup, and you can. I mean, man, I think Joe Burrow's gonna get sacked. I think there could be a pick six. You could do what I did, where you play the Rams D maybe. You can get a lot of pieces. Cup, Stafford, Burrow, Akers in that, or you could run two like a Boyd and Higgins. No, I don't think we can get Higgins. No, we're close though. You can play like a Boyd or like a Uzoma type build,
Mhm.
and you can just switch it out. And if you want, you could do like a Rams Cup Akers, Rams captain. Then you can go Burrow, Boyd, Chase,
Mhm.
Burrow, Mixon, Boyd, Burrow. You can kind of mix and match. There's some mix and max options you can do there. So you can kind of just like maybe make 5 or 10 lineups with the Rams captain or something, and then just kind of mix and match some of those, like, hey, Burrow's got a pass to come back type thing. Or, I like the double running backs. People aren't going to play double running backs, guys. People aren't going to play Rams captain. I usually don't like kickers captain, although there could be field goals, but I think there's going to be touchdowns in this game.
What do
I
you
do
think
like the
about?
defense just because they can rack up sacks, and that's kind of why I'm going to be heavy defense, I think.
I'm totally with you, especially the Rams defense here. I know they're going to try and design a lot of quick little out routes, which feels like T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd time. They'll try to do it with Chase. It's just going to be very hard to do. I'm just telling you, like, I'm not saying this as just a Rams bias. Like, what do we not do is F with, shut down corners, especially when you have two legitimate receivers and you get a pretty studly, certainly upper half of the league tight end coming back. So I'm going to be loading up that way. I will be high on Akers, especially if this ownership is anywhere near correct. I think this is way too low. And I think you can actually run the ball in Cincinnati. I forget what all the recent results are. I actually know you can. I mean, actually, the Chiefs did it. I don't know what happened. That was look. There's a lot of rumors about Mahomes being concussed for the second half, and I actually think that's a real possibility because he looked completely clueless. I've never seen him look like that, and except for maybe the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay, where that was just because there was no offensive lineman to protect him. But that anyway, Akers and Michelle, I feel like Akers, Michelle, and the Rams defense with everything else you want. It doesn't even need to be captains, any of those. But I just think that's a really interesting build that no one is going to do. I think that's a really way, and that's what we want to do, right? We want to get off the board a little bit.
Wait, don't say no one. I just put that lineup in.
Well, there you go. No one except for Rohde. So when Rohde wins the whatever, the 44-44, the 22 to 212, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, see, here's the difference. People watching this video are gonna go put it in the big million contest, right? And it's gonna be a little bit chalky, maybe like 10 people have it. But this crazy guy right here has got him in the 222. That's what I'm putting in.
That's how you do it. That's exactly right. See,
so nobody's gonna have it in that one.
I like that actually a lot. And I'm gonna take that moment to jump into something really funny. So I really think this game sets up for, if you're betting props, I watched San Francisco, who schemed to try not to let Cooper Kupp get the ball. It didn't work. I think you could make it took me a while on this. I've always thought Kupp was amazing. I really have been on this all year, but I really think Robert Woods was like legitimately, like, it's like an understudy who becomes better than the apprentice. That's what I really felt like coming into this year, that Woods was the guy, and all the blocking, all the things that Kupp does. What I really think is being missed here is that against any kind of zone scheme or anything with him, anything you try to run against him, the longer the quarterback has time, the more he's going to find Cooper Kupp. And I just feel like Cooper Kupp, bet the overs on everything. Okay. You don't have to play him in DFS because he's going to be so chalky or whatever. You can decide what you want to do. But Cooper Kupp, in my opinion, bet the overs. Just bet the overs. You would have made a millions of dollars this year if you just said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to keep betting the Kupp over every day. All you do is win. And this is a great spot where I think Cooper Kupp does have a big day. But if they do double team him and change their defensive scheme, OBJ and Van Jefferson are right there. They're right there, and they are the guys who I would consider as potential captains. Because if they do go that way, Stafford is good enough, the team is smart enough to run design plays away from that. That's just sort of my general thoughts. I'm going to bet the Kupp over on everything, but I probably will be heavier in DFS on Van Jefferson and especially Odell Beckham. who I really think has found himself. Go ahead.
I think, I agree with what you said there. I think OBJ is really coming into it lately. He's definitely found himself there. I definitely like getting some OBJ. I'm gonna be heavy on OBJ. I definitely wouldn't say, fade Cup. I mean, you can take that approach. I think if he busts, I mean, you're way ahead of the field, obviously. But like at the same time, like, I mean, you could just almost lock them in too, and just try to get different with some of these combos or different captains, or just kind of get off the board that way, like what we talked about. And just hope he gets the raw points, because he's going to get 10 targets at least, and he's going to get 100 probably yards. So I mean he's going to have 20 points in that. I mean, that might be enough points for him to get there in the lineup, because the other guys are going to get, OBJ might get 20, and then Stafford's got 25, and Burrow's got some points. So, or Mixon gets a couple touchdowns. Like, you might not need, you're still, the raw points are right there, and then you got a cheap captain that gets a touchdown or something, and then you're right there with the top score, so.
Right. If the Rams defense gets 17 points and they're my captain, and I've got Cooper Kupp scoring 25 and Beckham scoring 20 and Higgins scoring 20, great. Great. I'm good with that. And that is,
you want to balance with,
that's a real game script that I think is possible. And I do want to throw out a couple of like weird off the board guys. I also like these guys for touchdown props, and they're all ridiculous. But like at the same point, if you bet enough of them, I think one of them has a good chance of scoring. The first one is Skornek. Look, we had the play. He literally dropped a ball wide open for 80 yards in the end zone against San Francisco. They run plays for him. He plays on special teams also. He's our other receiver. And the Rams will use the 4 receivers. That we just don't have Robert Woods right now. Otherwise, this team would be just, I don't even know how you're going to beat this team. The other one is Chris Evans. He's not probably going to see more than a few snaps. One of those might be a goal line, hurry up offense type of thing. So that's a touchdown scoring bet more than I like him even for DFS. But I actually think at 400, that's an interesting bet. A guy to bet on if you're going to go, bottom diving or whatever you call it. I don't even know. Samaje Perine feels way too low owned at 11.7%. Not just because he had the monster day and that Sheets played him on the 4-game slate or whatever the hell, the 2-game slate with 4 teams. And he got the big touchdown catch. I think that if they're behind, you're going to see him in third down work. So I really like Perine to, especially as a PPR thing. Again, he might catch like 4 or 5 balls. You get 6 or 7 automatic points, then maybe he gets in the end zone once. That's an awesome play. So I like these guys. Who are some of maybe the lower, you could look at the sheet or whatever right here. We talked about Michelle. We talked about the running backs. What about some of the other weird guys who might be able to get one in?
Let's look at it. Well, I do like how, Uzoma and Higbee are still maybe questionable tags pop up. Like, people tend to be away from tight ends this year. And I really like tight ends. I was on the Higbee 2 touchdown game this year. CJ uses Uzoma. We've been on kind of all year, sprinkling in with our stacks for a cheap tight end to go with Chase and to go with Boyd games that we've won some money with Burrow this year. So, I mean, these tight ends never get played in Showdown. Everyone wants, how do I get Odell and Kupp in? And how do I get Higgins in here to score touchdowns? How do I get, all these guys? And they forget about the tight ends, or even the backup tight ends been scoring all year in showdowns. Tight ends running backs and tight ends been winning showdowns all year, guys. We've had some monster games from Kupp at captain and Chase at captain, but some of these off the wall options are definitely there. I don't mind bench rock. He can catch a bomb. But I mean, I don't really think I got to go that low to this week. I mean, last year double kicker was kind of a weird build with a double kicker combo with double defenses won some stuff. I mean, I would never want that because that just means there's no scoring in this game. So maybe like if you do a couple lineups like that in DFS, maybe you take the over on props, right? You think I think the prop over was pretty low, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wasn't it like 48?
Yeah.
So if you think it's going to be lower scoring, taking defenses, taking kickers, and then mixing in some of your star guys would be the kind of how you get lower, and then take the over on the the 48 or 50 points or whatever it's at now. total. That's what I do. Kind of hedge your bets a little bit, maybe. So if you win big DFS, then you lose on the props, but you can win the props and win your DFS money back or something. So
Hey, a win is a win is a win. That's all that
yeah,
matters. Yeah.
I definitely like. I think there's a prop out there like most sacks by team. I think the Rams are going to get that.
Mhm.
I don't know if the odds got bad for that or got really bad.
It's got to be against it, but I remember when I heard it earlier in the week, it was like close to 2-1, and that felt like it should have been like maybe 3 times that.
Yeah, so I mean I'm just kind of looking at what I got and
Mhm.
seeing that. I don't know if it's changed odds any, but it was like 2.2. Yeah, like not 3-1 yet. So you can get it if you get it for that. I don't know what site that's on, but I think another one I like is we talked about Tyler Boyd. His over was only like 39.5.
Yeah.
You like anything like that?
Yeah, I love Boyd and Higgins on the over. I like Chase on the under. I like
Okay.
Beckham. I like Beckham as a potential Super Bowl MVP, but I prefer Cup in terms of the overall bets just to hit the over on everything. And along those, I'm just going to mention some other potential MVP candidates that are really, really long shot odds. Even Cup at 6-1, by the way, I think is very viable. I think Higgins, OBJ, and Mixon are my favorite for where their odds are. And then also I would include Tyler Boyd. Because if one of them has a Gabriel Davis type of game and you win it, you're getting like 35, and that's possible because if they're going to pay attention, one thing we know about Burrow, it's not like he just dials in on Chase every week. We saw the big week that he, the monster week that he put up the 5 million passing yards and everything. That was mostly Boyd and Chase with a little bit of Higgins. I'm sorry, but mostly Boyd and Higgins with a little bit of Chase. I think that's the way I'm going to approach this slate overall. Their passing game, a little bit of the Rams running game, but more importantly, trying to stay away from Cup. Like bet all the overs on Cup in general, but trying to stay a little bit away from what I thought would be a little bit more chalky than it is. If it stays at 50%, I probably will be ahead of the field. If it got up to 70% on Cup, I would definitely be well below the field because I think
He hasn't been getting high owned. People think I think all these DFS players these days are like, hey, I can't play Cup captain. He's gonna be chalky, he's expensive. I can't fit all my guys in. Like these guys, like these players out there putting lineups and don't want to play these cheaper players like these, CJ and Higby type builds, or playing kickers and playing Sony Michelle's or Samurai P Ryan, like those guys we just talked about with Cup captain. They don't want to do that. And so they're like, he's coming in way less owned. Like you'll see him at like 40%, owned total and 20 in the captain or something. Cause everyone's just trying to jam these other guys in. So I tend to either like lock Cup in or make sure he's captain or in my lineup and kind of get different elsewhere. Cause you guys hear me, I can get different with all these weird plays, double running back and still got Cup in my lineup, and then, play some of these other lone guys. But right now the top build's coming out with Cup captain. And I mean, you can still get good players, one kicker, a tight end, Higgins, a running back, a QB, however you want Mixon. You can get one of these guys in that build, Higby's at 4.8 price, Gay's at 3.8. Uzoma's at 4.4. You can grab a cheap tight end. Boyd's at 5.4. So you can still get Cup captain and then kind of play around and get one of these guys in the build. I kind of like it.
No, I agree. And the thing is, like I said, I'm not going to talk anything about Cooper Kupp. I'm just thinking from a game theory perspective that I really think that the Rams are going to come out firing. Like the last Super Bowl we had, you could ask any Patriot player. The Rams were a significantly better team. We just happen to have Jared Goff as our quarterback. Sorry, bro. I know he's with your Lions now. Well, I guess they're not your Lions, but they're the Lions.
Well, luckily I'm a Packers fan. We all know that. But
I know.
But I hear everyone talks about the Lions constantly, so I hear about it constantly.
I mean, that was a Super Bowl they should have won. And honestly, if there was not a play or two that Goff could actually have made, they would have won easily. And if Matt Stafford was the quarterback that year, I can pretty confidently say that the Rams would have won the Super Bowl in a walk. Like, I really think that. He got out-coached. They tried to play a back and forth game with the Patriots and lost 13-3. It's not going to happen again. They're going to come out firing, but that's going to open up the running game. I really like this double running back idea. I think it's really interesting. I think it's very viable for the Rams. And I really like it for the Bengals. I think we should treat it a little bit like a normal slate breakdown that we do. What if Mixon gets the early score and has 50 yards rushing, and then you get the Pirine with 4 catches, 5 catches, and 1 gets in? All of a sudden, you're just running away if you get any of that formula right. And I think that's a way you can win. And you've been on this all year. You've made money on this all year, this double running back. Why should it be different for the Super Bowl? Especially because we know the Rams will run other plays out there. We know Mixon's going to be out there almost all the time, but when he's not, Pirine will get involved, as we saw last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess, whatever it was. All right. Before we close out of here, I'm going to ask you one weird question. Orange Gatorade or blue Gatorade? Now, I'm just going to throw out some stats here for you. So we have a blue Rams team. We have a orange, obviously, Bengals team. The Rams also can kind of go yellow. You can argue for that. There's never going to be a white Gatorade, so the other color is the black, and it's not going to be a black Gatorade for the Bengals. That's not going to be in the mix. But you get purple, and last year I think you got blue, or when Tampa won it, I believe it was blue. Blue's been 2 out of the last 3 years, sort of the trendy Super Bowl Gatorade pour on. But this is one thing people like to bet on. It does seem logical to go with one of the team's colors that you think would win. However, we don't even have a definitive color with the Rams. Like some of them would say yellow, blue and yellow. Like it can go either way. I think orange Gatorade is still a good bet, even though I'm on the Rams side of this. And I'm just curious, throw out a Gatorade color. This is a real bet. This is a bet people are making for thousands of dollars.
Wow. My favorite Gatorade, orange is up there.
Yeah.
I don't prefer blue actually, unless it's like Glacier Freeze, that light blue. So I'm pretty weird with Gatorade, but orange, I would bet orange. I don't mind the yellow Gatorade over blue, to be honest with you. Rams should go with the yellow Gatorade, I think, this weekend.
I like it. Orange is the chalk for sure, but like I'm into the idea of trying to mix it up and take some different shots on the Gatorade color, because I do think that it's getting a little too much notoriety for being the chalk, the orange being the chalk, especially because I think the Rams.
So where are you betting this Gatorade thing on?
I don't specifically bet. There are a million prop bets on every site basically out there. You could bet the Gatorade, you could bet the time of the national anthem. I'm going to have thoughts on that, but I probably won't be till Sunday because I want to hear the rehearsals before I do that. These are real bets.
This is nuts, man. I need to get more betting. I'm so focused on DFS. I need to get these bets. I hit a lot of live bets, guys. So if the Bengals get up 10 points, I'm live betting the crap out of the Rams, and they're going to come back and win by a lot. Trust me, I've live bet Alabama when they were down to Auburn late. They're on the 1 yard line. They got a minute to go. They drive down and score. They're plus 1,000 odds. I'm dropping big money on that.
I love it.
I'm getting these live bets. Michigan State. Listen, Spartans here. See that? They were down by 16 to Michigan. It was like plus 700 odds for them to win. Big dog Rohde here put some money, big money on, big stacks on them. Michigan State came back and won that game. Big money on the live bets, guys. I'm big on the live bets, so tune in. I probably won't be too drunk on the Super Bowl weekend. It's gonna be a fun game though. We'll watch it and hopefully get some live bets in.
Hopefully I will be drunk and I'll be at the Super Bowl, but we'll see.
Yeah, where's my ticket? I was hoping Bobby was in his neck. Get on a plane, Rohde. We got tickets. No,
hey man,
team, let's go.
One thing I've got is that anybody cancels who's betting like $1 million a day, like some of these guys do. I'm not betting $1 million a day. So if I can somehow get one of these guys to cancel late, I'm at least in the area, so they know they've got me as a last resort. It's happened before with the World Series. The Super Bowl is much more difficult, but if I could get into that DraftKings suite, that would be pretty fun for the Super Bowl. And I would love it for you to come, but I don't know if the timing would work out.
It's pretty bad,
But if it happened the day before, hey man, jump on out. We'll represent DFS. All right, man, before we get out of here, I just want to see if there's any other thoughts you have on the game. I think we went through a bunch of different possible scenarios, different types of builds you can go with, some sort of funny prop bets. What else do you have to say? Anything else before we get out of here?
Just try to stay different, guys. I mean, this is a huge contest this week, $1 million up top, a lot of entries, unless you're playing like the 2-2-2, the 4-4, the 4-4-4, the big Millie one. just try to get to some of these unique builds. Yeah, you're probably going to look at no return back on your money, but at least you built a unique lineup, and if you're looking at it, it's not duplicated. So if your guys do go off, you got an actual shot of not chopping it, and you're looking at like $27 back because you chop with 14,000 entries. You have the same lineup. You don't want that. So try to get different, do these combos, kickers, double running backs we talk about, get different at captain some, play some defense where no one's going to play that defense because everyone's like, oh, they're going to score. The Bengals chase is so good. Nobody's going to be a Rams defense. Play that kind of stuff that people aren't going to be on, and just get unique, and hopefully we can win some big money and not chop it.
Totally agree. And just going to throw it out there that I really think you should leave money on the table. The more the merrier on these kind of ridiculous people slates. There was a guy who won the million a couple years ago on DraftKings who didn't play anybody, who wasn't double digit owned, but he left like 3,000 on the table and he won the million alone. So there is ways to get different here. Maybe not the 222, but for the long shot millionaire for the $20, let's do it. Rohde, hey man, you've been awesome. The best guy we could ask for. He's going to be in Discord. We'll be in chat. You guys, let's make some money this weekend on the Super Bowl. Let's make some money in NBA in the meantime. And let's crush it. That's it. Rohde, I'm going to let you say your little signature phrase before we get out of here.
All right, guys, this is the last week of last game of the year. So let's get it.
Let's go.